Hi everybody, welcome to Sew It Tuesday. Today we're going to make some more fabric flowers, but this time these are just single layer flowers. And then I have a couple that are going to be doubled. So I cut all of these out on my Cricut, but you can totally just cut them out by hand and cut a flower shape. I'm just really bad at that. And I wanted to show you guys ways with the good circles instead of the wonky ones that I cut, which normally will work for certain things. So, yeah, this is what we're going to do. So, let's start with sewing our little stems. They're very little, our little leaves. So I have a trick with these, and basically, because if you put this in your sewing machine like this tip is going to get eaten up and then you'll ruin it. So what I do is take book page or paper, and you don't want it hard, you want it very lightweight, like copy weight paper or book page type, and then you sew it onto here. You want to keep your needle down when you're doing it. So I'm going to just put this where I think I want it. Put it right there. I have this on slow, so as you guys can see, I have one hand here and my other one is in my lever to lift and down. So I'm going to be lifting this up and putting it down quite a bit for with working with most all of this. So we're gonna just do a couple. Oh, my plug came out. Gosh. Okay. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to wheel. Go. And I'm going to turn that around to get this other side. Let's see, I just went right off that paper, which is fine. And then I'm going to just sew straight down that middle. There we go. So here's the easy part. You take this and you rip. Because as I said, this is why you lengthen your stitch when you're doing sewing on paper, because it rips so easy. It really doesn't matter if that little bit's on. Give it a little bit of strength. And you can't see the paper at all. You just cut the threads if you want them gone. And there we go. So I will show you again. Very easy. I have not messed with my stitch length at all. So I'm going to have this go down and over a little so I can get this one. So I do these because these are so tiny. I try to do them very slow, which for me is really hard because I'm impatient and I like it done fast. But with all these flowers, they kind of need to be done slower. So here we go. And you just rip off that back so you don't see it. And now you have two leaves. Okay, so I'm going to show you two different ways for these flowers. One is the way I did here, which was all sewn separately, and then I glued it. And you want to keep your needle down. So I'm sewing, turning, sewing a couple stitches, lifting, turning. And that's just to help get the circle because it's just the easiest way I know how to do it. I'm sure there's other ways out there. And that's just the way I know how to, like, for some of this I won't be doing that, but this is the way I know how to get the closest to the edging as I want. So there's one layer. And you can make these, cut these circles as big or as small as you want. It really doesn't matter. Okay, here is another kind. Here's it. You are going to do the same way. Forgot to put that needle down. And I'm just getting it as close to my edging as I can because that's where I want it. It really is preference on where you want your stitching. That's just the way that I do it. Alright. Here we go. And then you will just glue, and I'll show you how to do this after I sew everything else. And then you add your leaf. Alright. Let's do a pile over. Now, I'm going to show you another way. And I'm keeping this yellow on here. And for the first circle around, I'm doing the exact same method. Okay, so now we're getting to the edge of the other one, and then what I'm doing is I'm going to lift this needle up just to, and I don't need all those threads. Now, because I really don't care how this one looks, I'm just kind of, for some of it, I'm working it. And I'm going to keep going in and circle around. There we go. Okay, let's cut these threads off. And just gives you a different look. So next, I'm just gonna, this is again one that I cut from my Cricut, and these are kind of big. I would probably put these on the front cover or on a belly band, or all right. So this is just, as you can see, I layered it to where you can see both. I wanted to be able to see the yellow and the pink. Okay, so we have one round, and I'm just going to go around this time and kind of go in and over what I've already sewn. So I am moving this fabric while I'm sewing and moving my lifting my needle, and well, not my needle, but moving this part up and down. Alright, so here is and you can totally go in more and further in, but I thought a button would be cute on this. So here's one, and then if you can rag these a little bit more with your fingers and get them a little raggy. See how that little thread's coming out. And so we'll stitch a button on there. Okay, so I've never done this kind before, so we're going to try it together and see how it is. So again, I'm going to do it slow and put my thing down slow. Okay, and I want my needle in. I'm going to flip that around and get this other leaf right here. So I have 2 layers of fabric on this one. Okay, this is going to drive me nuts. Sorry, I can't go that slow. Okay, now we're going to go right now. So I'm only taking like 1 or 2 stitches and then going over. And then I'm going to sew down. Then see, there's where those meet. I'm flipping that back up and going up. And then once I get to this upper curve part, that's where I am stitching, lifting, stitching, lifting. Sometimes only 1 stitch or 2. And sometimes you stitch out of it. So here we go. Let's get that back down, and now we're going to go down all the way. And go up. let's... Ooh. Okay. There we go. And down. Okay, a couple more left. Now you can do 2 rounds of this if you wanted, but I don't really want to. That is, so sometimes like what I'm doing right now, because it gets caught, because this is so, there's, you know, when you sew it there, you don't have a whole lot. It's kind of like these triangle things that you have. So if you have issues with that, put a piece of paper down underneath it, and that will help. And then you won't get little puckers like I just did. Okay, so here's that. It's really cute. You can totally do it again and do it over layer like what we did here. I think what I'm going to do is call this done and then put a button right there. So I'm going to switch you to the other camera, and we're going to camera position, and we're going to start the other. So I will be right back. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I got to this stage, and I just took my Fabrifix, wherever the heck I put it. Oh, it's up here. And I just did a little bit on this part. It doesn't take a whole lot because it's a little fuzzy. Okay, there we go. And then I glue a little bit on that. And then glue a little bit on this. There we go. Then, well, this little one, nope, those are too big. I need to cut them down smaller for it to fit on there. Okay, so different ways you can use this. I have, where did that piece go? Oh, here we go. So I have this cute little, so you could totally add it right there. Or add it up here. Because it's really, I mean, because it's so thin, it'll work any way you want it to. Now, if you want, you can totally add a button on here. So let's add this button. Oh. Don't know where my lid went. Right here. Okay. So you want to go in and out a few times. You can use like whatever you want. This just happens to be what I have on my desk. There we go. So I'm going to go in and out one more time for both of these. There we go. And then you just flip it over, and I don't really like these needles. Okay. I'm going to swap my needles out. I don't like this. It won't go through the fabric very well. There we go. Well, that just ripped, but it's on. So there's that. Or you can just glue it on if you wanted to. I wonder how these would look with a jewel, like a flat back pearl. You know what? I have pink. Where's my pink flat back pearls? Here we go. I haven't opened them yet, so, but they have like a pinky blue color. These are a little too big for that. Oh well. Okay, so I'm going to get another needle because I do not like that needle. You can't poke it. There we go. Up. And so you guys can see it better, let's use some purple. All right. Now let's find one for this. That might be cute. I know we have a smaller. No. That might be cute on that one. Okay, so I got these buttons at, oh, I like that one on there. I got these buttons off of AliExpress. I do not know, like, which store they came from. Okay, let's use those. different. I'm going to tie the knot, put this back in, pull this through, and then I am just going to loosely to get a little bit of the thread on there. We're going to do one more round. And then I'm going to pull this back through and make sure that I do not pull too tight to make these not go. So I'm going to put my hand right there, flip it upside down to tie it. I'm keeping my hand right on here so I don't accidentally pull too tight when I'm tying this knot. And this is going to be a really close knot. Okay, there we go. And you can feel it pulling if you pull too tight. So there's that one. Now I'm going to get more thread, and we are going to I'm going to show you. What did I not put on? Oh, I didn't add that there. Oh well. Okay, so I'm going to show you another way. So I'm going to just flip this so it is a little bit, looks a little bit thicker, just like that. And put that right there. Okay, and we are going to get some thread in here. Again, you can cut your flower sizes any way you want. It really doesn't matter. Okay, now this has not been sewn at all. So what we're going to do is, I think I want a little black button. Yep, solid black looks good. You know what? The polka dot black. So these little tiny ones I have gotten at Hobby Lobby. So I'm just going to stick a hole. There we go. So in case you don't have a sewing machine, doesn't mean you can't do these. These are so easy and fun. You can still do it without the sewing machine. Okay, now I'm just going to tie a knot on the back and we'll be done with this. Okay. There you go. And so if you want, you just rag it up. Get it a little wet and just rag it. And then see how the threads are coming off. That's just going to get it a little bit raggedier. You can totally put distress ink on here if you want to change the color a tad or whatever. But there we go. And in doing that, those kind of switched. There we go. So here we go. And now I'm gonna make one more circle around here and just show you how you can do this without a sewing machine. Normally you'll want your, we're going to go right here. So just like what we would have done with the others, but instead, like when we made our other flowers, it's not going to look exact because sewing machine gets so close, and I for one cannot get that close. But when we were making our flowers for like this kind of a thing and we pulled it, that's the only difference. You do the same type of stitching, but you don't pull it. I'm going to do a round on the outside, just so it will look a little bit more even. You're going to hit a point where you're going to go through both of these, so it'll be a little bit harder to pull your needle through. If it gets too hard to pull your needle through, grab a pair of pliers. There we go. Okay, now you want to make sure these are all, there we go. Now I'm going to push this down and I'm going to just go, I'm not going under the fabric, I'm just going under this thread. And that's how my knot is going to be tied. It's a little bit curly. So I'm going to do it one more time and just go under the thread of the knot we just did. Because this is a single layer, you will see your threads getting pulled on the front. Unlike with these, when I went through the fabric, it was underneath a button. So, there we go. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you liked it, think about giving it a thumbs up and think of subscribing. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers and everything. I hope you guys are inspired, and I will see you on the next crafting adventure. Bye!